My name is Deborah Lamb.
Laura Mikesel.
LaTrinda Leonard.
Laura Kennedy.
And I proudly celebrate
Women's History Month
here at the City of Pittsburgh,
as I do every month of the year.
In honor of Women's History Month, Mayor William Peduto is paying tribute to the women in leadership here in the city of Pittsburgh. In this episode, we meet the female innovators upgrading the city to its fullest potential.
As most people know, I'm a Pittsburgher. I grew up in Pittsburgh, and then I left to explore the world and came back to contribute to my hometown. It's been a great experience, and I'm thrilled to be part of a wonderful team.
Growing up in Bethlehem, when I did, the Bethlehem Steel, which was our big steel plant in the middle of town, was a huge scar in the middle of our city. Right along the river, it's 25% of the city's property, and it was cold as long as I could remember, with absolutely nothing going on there, just a big sort of skeleton. And you know, I definitely came from a family where, you know, my father, my grandfather, and his brothers and sisters had worked there, but now, you know, it sort of felt like we were in just like a sort of different time and place.
My father is an immigrant. Came here from Ireland. And he loves America in a way that I think a lot of immigrants do. You know, he really resonates with the idea that, you know, one person, one vote, being able to be involved in the education system, being able to, you know, have a better say in your government, really is very meaningful to him. So I grew up sort of engaged in the civic process in a very sort of basic way, registering our neighbors to vote, you know, being out in the polls on election day, just sort of that sort of nuts and bolts of government. And they got a ton of newspapers, and, you know, we'd talk about the civic events at our dinner table and stuff like that. So sort of grew up in that culture. So I love government from an early age, and sort of wanted to be part of that change.
I'm from Texas. So Texas is a huge political place, and I actually went to school with the first African American judge's son of the Supreme Court of the state of Texas, I think. He's a judge, and he's black, and I went to school with his son. So it was awesome, and it was amazing, but he kind of like showed me the things that his father was involved in, and I was like, oh my gosh, like this world of politics and law is pretty amazing. And so I did some things in Texas that got me involved with the state legislature and volunteering with local officials, and so I knew that I wanted to have some role in government. What that looked like, I had no idea.
I went to school in Washington, D.C. and got my degree in foreign service. I was trained to be a diplomat, and then did my graduate work in public policy, focused on sustainable development. I spent many years advising cities and other governments and nonprofit groups and private sector on sustainable development, strategic policies, urban built environment, and it's been a great experience. But what I found in that type of work is that though I was in a position to learn a lot, travel a lot, meet lots of great and wonderful, very, very smart people, as a consultant, you never got to implement anything.
I got started in politics pretty early. Started doing campaigns when I was in high school, working for progressive candidates on the eastern side of the state in Bethlehem. And always sort of knew I wanted to be in public service. But after graduate school, I went to work at the Department of Housing and Urban Development as a presidential management fellow, which was a really neat opportunity. So I got to be there for a couple years, did a couple different jobs, and wound up in the Office of Strategic Planning and Management, where I did strategic planning and performance improvement for the whole department.
I came here to go to the University of Pittsburgh about 10 years ago. And it was wonderful, it was awesome. I thought I wanted to be in political science and history. In terms of my major, that didn't happen. My mom said you could never get a career or a job in that role or with that major in particular. So what I decided to do was major in speech pathology. I totally said, this is not going to work for me. I care about service. So I didn't listen to my mom. She didn't support me for an entire year after graduation because I didn't listen to her. So I decided to work for an organization, Public Allies, become a part of a national network of AmeriCorps members interested in changing their communities. And so I was connected there to service and leadership training. I did that for 10 months, graduated the program, and I worked with Focus on Renewal, a nonprofit in the McKees Rocks area. There I helped young people succeed, connect them to a number of different things, really show them that there are people that came from similar backgrounds that can make it, and so can they.
I started out in campaign politics, so I graduated in a big election year, 2004, and it was an exciting time to sort of be engaged civically. So I did campaigns for a while, mostly at the federal level, mostly on the West Coast. And then I did Mayor Nutter's race in 2007 in Philadelphia, which was really exciting. I really fell in love with the city, and I really fell in love with urbanism and sort of how you can create change on a real sort of tangible level by city administration. So I joined his administration and eventually moved into a policy role in their sort of equivalent of permits, licenses, and inspections. Did a lot of work around vacant land, open data, permitting and licensing, things like that. And from there, I got this job here in Pittsburgh, so I'm very excited to be here.
The way the Code for America Fellowship works is they break folks into small teams, and then they work with cities and counties across the country on a whole variety of issues. My team worked in Louisville, Kentucky on criminal justice issues. While I was there, I also got a chance to help them develop their open data policy there in Louisville, Kentucky. So when I came here to work for the city of Pittsburgh in Mayor Peduto's administration, I brought that experience with me, and so could sort of hit the ground running in developing that.
Then I went to work for the county, actually with a unit of young people ages 18 to 30 who had been in the child serving systems. So I supervised a group of about 4 caseworkers who had grew up in the juvenile justice system, who had grew up in children, youth, and families, and they were now going back to mentor other young people in these same systems. So that was fun, that was a challenge. Young people in the system have tons of issues, and they also need a ton of professional development, and so that was fun to train them to be able to help their young people that they were working with. So that was awesome and challenging and fun all at the same time. But from there, I kind of wanted a different route. I wanted to go work in corporate America. And so had a small stint with GlaxoSmithKline doing internal relations, internal engagement, and communications. From there, I got a call to come and serve and to continue my service. And so a lot of my work has been project management and looking at how we can get people around a particular project, convene leaders and convene workers of various things. And so I think that's a lot of what I do now. I convene those in public works, I convene those in parks, and we work to get something done.
Currently, I'm the Director of Permits, Licenses, and Inspections, which is the newly renamed Bureau of Building Inspections. So we're looking to sort of create a better and more cohesive vision for improving the built environment, helping the development process function more predictably and transparently, and also working with communities to actually help them improve their neighborhoods and make this city a better place to live, work, and do business.
I actually find the municipal level very exciting. It's actually, there's been a lot of discussion of that's where the changes, the center of power. Like I have worked, at the international level, the local and the state, federal levels, but this is where really you can affect the most change. You can take, even in the international level, there is really no mandate or governance structure. I've been to several climate change negotiations, with the UN and whatnot, and it's great, it's exciting, all these countries coming together, but at the end of the day, the entities that actually have to implement the recommendations that come at that level, or even at the federal level, is the local government. They're the ones that feel the brunt of the citizens. They're the ones that actually, if things don't work, they'll be accountable. We always say, you would never have a local government shut down. you can't afford it. At the end of the day, there are potholes to be filled, there's traffic to be done, there are just permits to be passed. There's just too many things that are happening on day-to-day operation levels that you can't afford that kind of bickering.
I was so excited to take this job, and a year and a half in, I'm still pretty excited about the breadth of different things that I get to work on in this job. So I definitely got the sort of experience with Secretary Donovan at the Department of Housing and Urban Development when I was working there. He's a fantastic manager, like the best executive I've ever worked for, and such a sort of data-driven and detail-oriented guy, and taught me so much that I was so excited to take to other places. That in combination with my Code for America experience, where I learned about open data, and where I really got a lot of fluency talking about software development. I think those things together were awesome, and combined with my love for Pittsburgh and all things Pennsylvania that have always been a part of me.
I feel that when I was growing up, there were always those around to serve me, to expose me to opportunities, to make my life a little better. And so I have to do that for other people. And if it's filling a pothole, if it's improving a park, connecting technology to these departments, whatever it is, getting a youth a job, I have to do that. And so that experience when I was young, that love that was surrounding me, the people that wanted to mentor me, I literally want to be that for someone else. So that's why I serve, that's why I'm here.
The two biggest things that skills that I had previously that I took to this job that I found helpful are sort of being willing to just jump into things and be like, yep, let's go, let's roll. Not being intimidated by problems or situations or circumstances, I think is really helpful. And sort of realizing, hey, no one knows the solution here. Let's just go for it, try some stuff out, and keep tweaking it as we roll. And then secondly, I think that sort of really I get into sort of large-scale projects, overall management, change management, process flow.
I don't think most people will say, their background, is 100% able to, fill any position before they launch into it. But it certainly helped me. It gives me a sense of proportion. I've just seen and been able to be a part of so many different things that it really puts in perspective what I'm doing now. But it also gives me the different tools and the resources and the networks to evaluate the crisis or the challenge. And, it's a very humbling and I would say, inspiring and a position of influence, but I'm very cognizant and careful not to abuse that because I've seen what could happen when people hold that as a shield.
When I was working at the federal level, we really didn't have a lot of opportunity to sort of work directly with the community and even directly with community groups. But here, I really like working with community groups because there's so many very tangible, very visible projects that they're working on that we can help them with access to data and helping them to develop software.
I think from working in campaigns, I sort of saw how government functioned on a variety of levels in terms of state, federal, and local. And I think that mayors in particular, and big city mayors perhaps most of all, can really impact people's lives and affect change in a way that no other scale of government can. So I find this level of government the most meaningful to work on.
Being a woman in leadership at the city of Pittsburgh makes me feel like I'm in great company because there are so many other great women in leadership.
Humbled, proud, happy, honored.
I would say in a way it kind of makes me feel like a trailblazer.
Makes me feel empowered.
I came into this department and was not intimidated to join it in the city of Philadelphia because the previous head of that department at the time when I became interested in it was a young woman. So she was 35 and was a tremendous leader. She's since taken other even greater leadership roles in city government. And she was fantastic in terms of both encouraging me, inviting me to meetings, letting me, run projects, speak my mind, and sort of, again, really creating an environment where, everyone was included.
I think it's really exciting, but also just great to be part of a team that's so diverse, not only just in terms of its female representation, but just in terms of background, education, experience. All of us, especially at the executive director level, had choices, and we passed up jobs with, frankly, higher salaries, more glamorous positions, et cetera, and we all chose to come here because of the mayor's vision, because of his commitment to transforming the city of Pittsburgh, and because we wanted to be part of that. So to have that collective effort and support is just really great. But what's really great even about Innovation and Performance Department here is that I'm very proud of our team here and our management team. We are actually one of a core management team that is a majority of females. We are very much, which is something that you don't really see in the tech sector, and something that I think I'm very proud of, and I don't take credit for it. It's these women that have actually just risen up on their own accord and really help keep the department running. They represent the department, but also everyone else. I might be the head, but behind me, in front of me, around me is a very strong core team of people.
What I would tell young African American women that are interested in pursuing a role in government or any type of career is don't be afraid to dream. Tell people in your network about what you're dreaming. Let them know what you hope to be and hope to become, and publish it. Hold yourself accountable to those dreams by sharing it with your network, because they will then serve as that team that can push you along and get you where you would like to be.
I mean, it's really exciting that we have so many women in leadership here. I mean, in the Department of Innovation and Performance, a huge percentage of our managers are actually women, and significantly women of color as well, which is also really exciting and great, and I'm really proud to be a part of that team. I also feel very lucky to work for my boss, Deborah Lamb, Chief of Innovation and Performance. Deborah has a very tough job and a huge portfolio of things that she's responsible for. And I am inspired every day by the way that she keeps things organized, she keeps people accountable, and really, I think, has done an amazing job of translating, some of the bigger parts of the mayor's vision into real strategies that we can really sort of start to map out and to make happen.
It's not something that I think about every day. Obviously it's just a part of who I am, so I don't really think about it as part of my conscious decision making. I will say that I think this field is not particularly diverse in the city of Pittsburgh. So there isn't many women in leadership roles in the construction industry here. So I think that has been, I was a bit surprised by that coming here. But it hasn't held me back. And I'm really interested in sort of making the field as a whole more welcoming of women and other minorities. That's been a real initiative of my hiring in the department to make sure that we serve the city of Pittsburgh, and I want to make sure that our department reflects the city of Pittsburgh.
I've been very, very lucky in my career that I've had some really strong mentors, people that have been willing to take the time and the effort to guide you, to explain things to you, to tell you that you're not right, to tell you that you're wrong, but then to tell you how to fix it, and to back you up when you need it. That I think is one of the best mentorships, being able to give you the freedom to explore, fail, try things, but then at the end, always backing you up, always being there to tell you, I don't necessarily need someone to tell me good job all the time. I need someone to be honest with me and tell me, critically, like, you didn't do this well, and here's why, and here's how you could do it better. That I think is really the heart of a mentorship. And I've been lucky to have those types of people in my life, and they continue to be part of my life, even when I'm no longer working for them. And I think that's what's great. It's these types of people that are confident enough in their own ability and have already the breadth of experience that they are able to let me shine in some ways sometimes, you know, like it's not a competition. They're proud when, you know, it deserves to be proud, and they're able to push me out. And that's just been really great. And I think it's something that I'm learning as I progress in my career. You know, how do you provide that constructive feedback? How do you make sure that I'm backing, you know, the projects and the people up at critical points, but not micromanaging, but letting them grow and evolve? And then how do I let them shine?
To see this many women working at this level of government, I mean, it just shows me that women can have it all. There are tons of women here that have careers and have home lives. They have children. They take vacations. You know, it's inspirational to know that when I do decide to have children, if I decide to have children, that there's a space for me in terms of my career and what I can choose to do. So I just love it here. A lot of them have served as mentors to get me here, so it's great to interact with them. Deborah Walker actually gave me my first scholarship to go to France, and now she's over the Office of Municipal Investigations.
Thanks for watching our tribute to women in leadership here at the City. Until next time, I'm Katie O'Malley for City Channel Pittsburgh.